After years without any promising young players coming up through the ranks of Barcelona's youth academy La Masia, it now seems that La Masia has finally started to produce world-class talents again in these last few years. In this video, we'll take a look at exactly how La Masia became great again, and also why it wasn't that great anymore for a while, and why it suddenly started producing diamonds again. So make sure to stay tuned. In about 2019, there had been a long period of drought when it came to La Masia players breaking through in the first team. Carles Alenya, Gerard Deulofeu, Ricky Puig, they were all talented players. But for each one of them, a different mix of struggles stood in the way of them becoming successful at Barcelona. The first talent to really break through in the same way that players like Messi and Busquets did all those years earlier was none other than Ansu Fati. And I know some of you are about to tell me he wasn't successful either, but compared to those other talents, he was, well, just different. In his first ever games for Barcelona's first team, he managed to immediately make an impact. He was fearless, took on players, linked up with the other attackers, and could make the difference through any goal-scoring opportunity. Away against Osasuna or away against Inter Milan, he made the difference for Barcelona, still in his very first months. At the start of next season, he was just as crucial, and it seemed as if he was going to be a starting 11 player for the next 15 years, until that game against Real Betis where he got injured. From there on, he had cameos of being important for Barcelona, but injuries and the fact that he wasn't fulfilling the expectations slowly started to ruin his confidence, up till the point where a loan move to Brighton was the best move forward for his career. Still though, there is still a chance that one day Ansu Fati makes it at Barcelona, and he does mark the beginning of the era where La Masia became important for the Blaugrana again. It would last another couple of years before a diamond as big as Ansu Fati came up through La Masia again. Pedri is not from La Masia, and other talents like Ilaix Moriba, Nico Gonzalez, Oscar Mingueza and Eric Garcia never really broke through in Barca's first team. Ronald Araujo did technically come up through La Masia as well, but he only spent one full season playing for Barca B only, before already being evolved to the first team. So he became a first team player shortly after signing for Barcelona, which makes him not as La Masia as players like Ansu Fati. But then again, one of the reasons why he only spent 1 year at Barca B is the fact that he was just that good that he had to play for the first team. In the summer of 2021 though, another talent did come up, none other than Gavi. In his first season for the club, he immediately became crucial for Barcelona, and generally he was a starting 11 player as a 17-year-old. He made the difference through his press resistance, his smooth ball circulation, his ball recoveries, and fans respected him for the amount of passion that he played with. He just seemed to be a mix of Carles Puyol and Andres Iniesta, something that sounds weird to say out loud, but it's kinda what Gavi is. And in the following seasons, he has been consistently showing up game in, game out. He has kept on improving, and I'm sure he has the potential of being a key player for Barcelona for the coming decade, and of becoming one of the best midfielders of all time. In that same season that Gavi broke through, another talent slowly made his way up to the first team. Alejandro Balde. He got a taste of what it was like to play for the first team in that 2021-2022 season, but was far from a starting 11 player. It's under Xavi in the season after that he finally started to beat Jordi Alba to that first team spot, and that he became a regular starter. Now he's a solid left back, and though he has still some points that he can improve on, it does seem as if he will occupy that left back spot for the coming decade, and as if he will be able to establish himself as a Barcelona legend. Finally, this season, another talent has started to emerge. Lamine Yamal has been showing signs of his enormous talent every time he's had the chance to do so, and it definitely seems as if he will have an impact on any success Barcelona can reach this season. There's a lot of excitement around him, and many see him as La Masia's most talented player since Lionel Messi himself came up. But eventually, it's just about making sure that he can develop in the right way and can actually reach that potential. If he can do so, then Barcelona have an absolute star on their hands for the coming 10, no, 20 years even. That's how La Masia became great again. Barcelona now finally have a squad with young players from La Masia who are actually important, and who are going to be the core of players that this team will be built around in the future. But why didn't this happen in the period from Thiago to Ansu Fati, in around 2012 to 2019? Well, a part of it is really just fate. There were really just no actual big talents like Gavi who came up in that period. Some really good players, but just no one with that much talent. Also, it's important to realize that Barcelona often go back to La Masia to look for players when they need it most. Back in 25, 26, 27 or 28, Barcelona needed new players to build their future team around, and they found them in La Masia. When La Masia was seemingly not producing any big talents for a while, it was maybe also because they weren't really necessary in the first team. Luis Enrique's Barcelona, for example, was a perfectly functioning team that was way harder to break through in than the Barcelona of Ronald Koeman some years later. That even means that if Gavi, for example, had come up in 2015, he maybe wouldn't have had the same kind of breakthrough. Also, it didn't help that Bartomeu signed players like Coutinho for big money, when players like Riqui Puig were waiting for their chance in the first team. Under Joan Laporta, La Masia has always been trusted more, which we saw when he was Barca's president both in his first period and now in his second period as well. He's never made big signings when he knew La Masia was a solution. So the fact that La Masia didn't produce any big talents for a while and has now seemed to become important again does really have a variety of reasons. There were maybe just less talented players for a while, Barcelona didn't really need any new La Masia players for a while too, and under Bartomeu, La Masia wasn't trusted near as much as under Laporta. Now though, La Masia has become that great La Masia again that we all once knew it as, and it'll probably keep on producing big talents in the following years. So I'm very excited to see who Barcelona's next La Masia product is, and how the current ones like Gavi, Balde and Lamine Yamal are going to do in the future. That was it for today's video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and feel free to share your own opinion in the comments down below. Forza Barça, Forza La Masia, and have a good day.